Yeah, it's simple. A lot of stupid ones like that don't mean anything, but
Welcome to Practical Shooting After Dark. We're here to talk about shooting. Well, you guys know the deal. On deck today, we got Mr. Kim,
Hello.
Mr. Hopkins.
hi.
So instead of doing the normal topic roundup, we have fun stuff to talk about this week. And I'll read an email we got. Hey guys, do you see the new rules for production division? What's this about? Mounted flashlights. Blah blah blah. I mean, all right. So what do we think about the rule changes? So before we talk about that, Matt, what rules got changed?
So there was I don't know, there's like 10 things that got changed. Like 3 of them are kind of interesting that we'll probably talk about. So they added some clarification on hits being like struck wholly within a cardboard target. Like if it can't be determined, it's a reshoot. They clarified 2 rules on that. Then they changed a bunch of other rules. So uh real simple, like they deleted some duplicate language in some section 12.3, don't know what that is. This is an important one. Like here, you'll understand why this is really important and why they did a change on this, right? So they increased the number of classifier stages allowed at at a level 1 match from 6 to 8.
Okay, that is
That's to get more
interesting.
revenue, right?
I would assume so. They need their $3.
Yep.
Foley's been
Really
clear about
important.
that.
So
Yeah.
another clarification on stacked shots. Irrelevant, honestly. Okay,
And
so
that
Appendix
stuff was that interesting.
D2 to D7, item 14 was changed to yes, must be functional. And you might ask, what is that, right?
Item 14.
That is flashlights.
Flashlights.
So allowing flashlights in production and carry optics.
Allowing flashlights in every division now, no
But
matter
the
what division
flashlight
it is.
but the flashlight has to be functional.
It has to be functional, yes. So effectively, that is disallowing any flashlights that were mounted unfunctional and said they were frame weights. Now that is technically illegal.
Okay.
So are we you just want me to list all the changes?
Yeah, keep going.
So Appendix D4, 5, and 7, item 12 removed, reference to Appendix E3. This is holster and mag pouch position on the belt.
So there's now no restriction on that, right?
There's no restriction on where you can put your holster or your mag pouches on basically production, single stack, and carry optics. Everything else you could put it wherever you wanted.
And I imagine the reason for this change is because they think ROs are too stupid to figure that stuff out.
Well, I mean, we can discuss that. Like, I think mainly it's going to come down to people, like, people are going to say it comes down to allowing people to use appendix carry, right? And like an appendix holster in production division. Like, they want to shoot their production or carry gun.
That's fine, but like the reason that they don't have a restriction on the stuff on equipment position is because they think ROs are too stupid to enforce those rules. I mean, let's be honest, that's been the attitude for a while.
And
that's a trend they've done lately, yeah.
In the same rule change, there's another rule change that's reflecting that, making the ROs restricting the division a little bit easier. So one of the rule change was single stack weight change.
Yep. Next one on my list was they increased the weight from 43 to 45 ounces. I think this is pretty common sense. It's not like they didn't say, oh, 59 ounces for single stack, do whatever you want.
Yeah, I don't understand why they have any weight limit at all for anything at this point.
Oh, in production carry optics, it makes no sense. If everything's legal, like under the weight limit, why is there a weight limit?
I don't understand what they're trying to do.
For the 65-ounce gun that's not come out yet, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then the other changes, they're allowing magnets in all divisions now.
Right. Wait, let's put that into what it actually means. Now magnets are required in all divisions.
Yes,
to be
100%.
competitive.
Magnets
Yes.
are required now.
Magnets are now a requirement.
Yes. So they've now taken it out of less like it is now harder to be competitive in the divisions because you have to buy more equipment. People argue flashlights are going to be mandatory now because they're considered frame weights and it'll help you shoot better and faster, all that.
And also lighting in a low
Yeah,
lighting
lighting.
shooting
I've seen like
significantly
there's
changed.
posts out there. People say like on ideal conditions, like not frostproof in the sun and all that. Frostproof in the dark house, maybe. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean that's an interesting thing with flashlights is now imagine putting in like dark stages.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
think that's
so
going to happen though?
I don't know. I mean, probably not, but there's always one guy, right?
So now do you have to bring two holsters and depending on the match, if they have a dark stage, you put a flashlight on your gun or not?
And
That would
some
be
indoor ranges
that-
are dark-ish. So one of
Yeah.
my local indoor range, it'll be definitely advantage to have that light on, especially iron sight shooters.
So I saw a lot of chatter, a lot of people getting worked up about these rule changes online, which
Yeah, there was a ton of talk on it, and it swarmed the whole gamut. Like it was the whole gambit of, oh, people are whining because they're not relevant anymore. Oh,
who's
yeah,
not relevant anymore.
the people that don't like the rules. I've heard that, or like I've seen that meme posted out there.
Oh, well, I mean, this is the track that USPSA has been on for years.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
I have to
So
say, none of this really surprised me at all. And I think probably the most relevant thing to talk about is the process for this, where it'd be like, hey, uh, why would you guys make these changes without even talking to anybody? You know what I mean? It'd be like,
yeah, and
why
I
are you
never
requiring
heard,
magnets now? It's so
I
fucking crazy.
never heard anybody ask like or complain like they couldn't use their flashlight on their gun.
No, it's
Like I never heard that argument.
it's never been an issue before, but it will be an issue now potentially. But you know, whatever. I mean, on a personal level, I don't much care. This is just like more of what I suppose I would expect to happen. Or I'm like, whatever. They're gonna do what they're gonna.
No, magnets are required now. Like every online store sold out of magnets like that night within hours of this rule being dropped.
Of course.
There's many posts that are coming up on basically gaming with the flashlight as well.
Oh yeah.
For example, I saw a post about having a heavier battery to increase the weight.
So yeah, I looked into that. It's so an X300 weighs 3 ounces, right? This guy put a brass slug, like an outside of a smaller diameter battery, so it still lights up the same. It's not gonna have the same like output or runtime, right? It still works. It's still functional, but he added like 4 ounces to the weight of the flashlight. It's now 7 ounce light because they put a brass slug around a smaller battery.
That's interesting, I guess.
Is it? Is that the way we want to go though?
It's not the way I want. Like I don't give a fuck. I mean, on a personal level, like I'm not interested in doing any of this stuff, and I'm just like whatever. But that's just me. I'm pretty turned off by USPSA lately. So whatever. If they're gonna do what they're gonna do. That's fine. It's
Do you
not for
think
me.
the flashlights are going to become mandatory,
I don't know.
or
I
a
don't I don't think mandatory. Because like honestly, how much if you're shooting like a Shadow 2, how much does a flashlight on there really affect the behavior of the gun?
Not a lot.
No, I mean you're shooting minor anyway. It's not a huge deal, but you know, probably.
I actually don't see. I don't foresee the flashlights being a thing. The magnets 100% are.
Well, the magnet, like
Yes.
I don't understand how requiring magnets got through a board meeting. Honestly, I don't get that.
So it's easy. Like they're trying to dumb the sport down. They're basically moving
What do you
this
mean
sport.
trying to?
No, think about it. Like they're moving this sport back to how it originally was. an open division and a limited division, right?
Mm-hmm.
Carry optics and open are getting closer than getting farther apart. Limited in production is getting closer than getting further apart. And then PCC doesn't like, they do their own thing.
Right.
Like they're making the sport like, I don't know. They're just making it where it's more like one division. So now there's no holster differences, no mag pouch differences in any division. You can use light in all the divisions, so that basically means they're all the same.
Well, I don't know, Kim.
Yes.
Would you say you're happy about these changes or no?
I definitely have some interpretation, but I really wanted to share this before I share my personal interpretation. So I think the measurement for our interpretation, whether you are in the leaderboard or board member or regular competitor, we actually have something like a Constitution of United States. We call it bylaw, USPSA bylaw, and Article 3 has objects and purposes. And I think everybody should know just this segment. I'm going to read it just really shortly. So number 1, objects, to promote amateur, national, and international athletic competition. Number 2, to educate the public of the benefits of practical shooting. Number 3, to train range officers. Number 4, to set forth rules and regulations for the conduct of practical shooting. Number 5, to assist in safely and fairly holding practical shooting contests. Number 6, to set forth a system of under auspices of the corporation that will train, develop, and qualify athletes to represent the United States in international practical shooting competition. And as we see this bylaw and the objects and purposes, there's a couple things that's repeated, like athletic competition and athletes. So meaning like we consider it like a sport. And also 2 things spotting international competition twice. So promote international competition and also train, develop, qualify athletes to represent US in basically saying IPSC, correct?
Yes. And
there are definitely this kind of like a constitution where it should protect people's rights. USPSA also, when people interpret the new rules or when the board members come up with the new rules, this is like the measurement. Like, does the new rule change fit these categories? And some of them I'm seeing definitely fits the international competition category, like train, develop, qualify. Yeah, they're doing a very good job qualifying with the qualification system, but train and develop for the international competition, like the magnet stuff, kind of makes sense because that's an international rule set. And some of the rules that are opposed to that, of course, like the carry optics production, international matches, the Hipon rule exists, and also the flashlight is completely against. And there were times where, like Ben mentioned earlier, that rule set change are something towards making the division rule easier, so the ROs doesn't have to reinforce or check in a way. But 1 or 2 things actually, it says to train range officers, and then another one is to assist safely and fairly holding practical shooting contests. Some rule changes I've been seeing over time are not really about these 2. It was about changing the division rules or competitors to help range officers to make it easier job rather than training range officers. And also number 2 is educate the public of the benefits of practical shooting. Number 4 is kind of connected, set forth rules and regulations for the conduct of practical shooting. So in this kind of case, I'm not sure if bringing in the trend to the competition is necessarily good. So let me clarify a little bit. Some people were talking about, hey, now I can shoot with the flashlight, or hey, now I can shoot with appendix carry. That is false information. You were already able to shoot appendix carry in open and limited division, and flashlight, although it wasn't functional flashlight, people were using flashlights in open and limited division, or you are at least allowed. And I see some shooters actually use them. So it is not a good idea to mess with other divisions to make it all like that, where you can compete with any gear you want in open and limited. So if you are wanting to play the game and have fun with it, you can definitely go open and limited, no problem. You can use whatever gear, like the tactical gear too. Like I see law enforcement using different gears too. Those are allowed. However, the rationale being changing the rule for production and carry optics to help the appendix carry shooters, for example, to be competitive, that's not the right way to go, in my opinion. Because first, it's not going to make you competitive, even if you do appendix carry. But you already have the divisions that allow other people to use those gears. But now you're changing basically ruining the characteristics of other divisions where HIPPON rules exist.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like I said, I think the larger thing here is the process where, I mean, the last 5 years we've just seen rule changes happen. They don't talk to anybody. Rule changes happen.
They passed a bylaw change so they could do it more frequently.
Yeah, I know.
That tells you everything you have to know.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, it doesn't really matter what we think. Like, this is going to go the direction that they want it to go, which is, it's too bad. If they put some of this stuff out for public comment, they probably would have come up with better rule changes than what they came up with.
Yep. Or none at all.
Yeah. I don't see a reason to like get rid of the hip bone rule in production, for example. Like I don't think it's even like a relevant thing.
The only reason they did that is so ROs won't have to check.
Right. That's the mentality. Yes. That's obvious to me. Like the appendix thing that's bullshit. That has nothing to do with anything.
So here, you're going to like this. So they got rid of the placement rule, right? But they did not get rid of the butt of the heel of the gun has to be above the belt, or the front strap has to be above the belt for single stack. Like they still have those requirements in where they have to check. It's like they went and like 65% of the way of making it easy. And then they're like, we just forgot to add those in there. So next go around, we'll adjust those.
Well, good thing they changed the bylaws so they can adjust them more frequently.
Yeah, they can do it next month.
Well, whatever. That's how it's going to go.
There was like 3 other things I think we should just mention. Like,
yes,
during all this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there was 3 things that were brought up that were all like unanimously turned down, and no action was taken, not even a vote or anything. Eliminating L10 division. They didn't vote on it. It didn't even come up to a vote. Like, I guess they didn't get enough a second or something to even propose the motion.
They don't want to have a roll call vote on that one.
Right.
Yeah. Let me put it
15
that way.
rounds in production was brought up. No roll call vote, no second or nothing. Didn't even come up. Like, didn't even come to a vote. And then I think the biggest one,
and we've talked about that. I mean, that's the sort of changes that I think they ought to be discussing.
It's the same thing Kim argued about, though, right?
Yeah.
There's a place for them people to shoot already with their appendix carry with high cap 9mm.
Yeah.
It's called limited.
I get it.
And the 15-round rule is more valid according to the bylaw objects and purposes. The last one is to train and develop qualified athletes for IPSC, international competition.
All right. And what's the other change, Matt?
So the other one, I don't know if you're going to know which one I'm talking about. This one was missed by a ton of people. I don't think this one got a lot of airtime, but in Troy's report, almost at the very bottom of it, he said, develop Action 22 rules and whatever endorsement, like the multi-gun endorsement for rules.
Yes.
So Troy is actively developing a 22 division or something, 22 action is what it was called, for some portion of USPSA.
Yes. This again, not a surprise.
Think it's the right direction though?
Well, you know me, I don't give a shit about shooting 22s. Like I'm not interested in that. Like for me, but like I if there's a way for them to work people shooting 22 into matches, I'm sure they will do it because we got to get those numbers up.
Oh, there was one more. I forgot. Allowing single action in carry optics division.
That was discussed,
yes.
right?
That was discussed, but same as the 15 round in L10. No vote or anything like that taken on it. No action.
Yeah, that would be to get the staccatos in, maybe.
I think there's a lot of 2011 platform 9mm slide ride optic guns. Yeah, there's a bunch.
Yeah. Oh well.
Didn't we have that division in IPSC a long time ago called modified?
Yeah, and that was like the one time they successfully got rid of a division that nobody was shooting. Like the one
There's
time
actually more people shooting that than revolver, and they still have revolver.
Yeah, no, our board couldn't get L10 to a vote. They couldn't vote on that. Okay, whatever, guys.
So all the rule passing, like magnets and flashlights and all that, were not all unanimously voted on either. There was there's people that voted no on some of the rules.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a straight party line vote. Go look if you really care. Like your area director might have or might not have voted for the rules changes,
But you saw, I mean, the discussion on this that I saw seemed pretty split online.
Yeah, it was pretty like no one was like, it doesn't matter. Like they were either like worst thing ever or best thing ever. It wasn't like down the middle hardly at all. I saw it was all very polarized.
Well, there you go. Yeah,
I'm sure
like I
we'll
said,
get way more members that they couldn't shoot their appendix carry Glock in carry optics and now they're going to come out and shoot every match, right?
what?
No, that's what they did. Like they want to make it like open for those people to participate. They're going to come out. They're going to be setting up stages, running matches, doing all that right now.
Who was?
All those people, the
What people?
the imaginary people that we're trying to placate to.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. Like the idea that people are like, oh, if I can't shoot my appendix holster in production, like I'm fucking out. Like I don't want to do this. Like I don't. That's not a very big phenomenon. There's not a lot of those people.
No, it's going to be something else now. They're like, oh well, I can't use my carry magwell on my carry optics gun now, so I'm not going to come out to shoot because I have shooting open.
Like,
so I'm not competitive.
Okay, fair enough.
Then the next one will be they can't use their Roland special comp on there, so we'll have comp magweld carry optics appendix division here soon.
Yeah, well, like I said, my beef with this is procedural, but we've hammered them a lot over this. Like we're making frequent equipment changes, frequent changes to the equipment rules, and never having a comment period or never actually having a discussion about it. Yeah, obviously, I mean, it gets us this where you're just like,
yeah.
I don't
the
know.
other thing was this was a straight shot at IDPA.
How?
So,
How?
So some club some person put a video up of a US IDPA match where they're shooting appendix carry and like drawing on it.
Yeah, but
and
this
like
was
Joyce Wilson.
This was a few months ago, right?
Yeah, it happened with this year sometime.
Yeah.
But Joyce like made a big comment and like banned the person, banned the match director, banned the area coordinator, and people are saying like this is the nail in the coffin for IDPA, but they did that themselves years ago, I believe.
Yeah, IDPA has not been relevant in a long time. I don't Like, yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, again, it's like if you're out shooting IDPA matches, the idea that pretty small equipment changes in USPSA is like, oh yeah, that'll get me over there now. It's like, no, that's not real.
The
All
thing
right,
is, when new shooters join USPSA, even if they were like, for example, shooting appendix carry only, if they join USPSA, the first thing they do is trying to figure out the division rather than they join it because of the division. Maybe open, maybe an exception, but usually that's how it works. So far, I've seen when the new shooter joins, they bring their gear and ask people, "Hey, what division should I be shooting?" Oh, you're appendix carrying, then you should open or limited.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
now
that's the
it'd be
easiest
like,
way to do
hey,
it.
we need to get you a flashlight and magnets and whatever.
Yeah, that same person's now going to show up and be able to shoot in production division. So they're going to be shooting against a dude that has a double belt, like drop offset, double layer Kydex holster with a flashlight on his gun that weighs 56 ounces, and he's going to think he's going to be competitive against that. Because we now allow appendix carry in production division and carry optics.
Well, you don't seem that happy, Matt.
Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I wasn't in the room, so I didn't hear all the arguments, I guess.
Yeah,
so.
I'm sure it was a lively discussion about why we have to do these things. Whatever. Cool. Let's take a question and then we can sign off this shit show. All right. Where are your eyes pointing when the beep sounds, and how does that tie into stage visualization? Who wants to go first on this one? Let's take the first part. Like, where do your eyes point before the beep sounds? Anybody?
Whatever you want to do first. Like, where, like, you're looking at your first target or your first action. Like, if you have to open a door, I would be looking at the door handle. If you're going to, like, draw down on a 7-yard target, like, look at the target.
I will say this, though. I kind of make a habit now of, like, looking at the ground or whatever, just looking away. And as soon as I hear the beep, then I look up to the first target. Because if I'm staring at a spot on that target for like 20 seconds, I find my vision getting lazy, and I don't keep it lasered in on that one spot. That's just me, though.
Yeah, I do the same. I do the same, but the main reason, so I'm kind of looking at the ground. The main reason I'm doing is when I'm really completely relaxed and standing up, I have neck issue from motorcycle accident. So to have my eyes and the head kind of up straight, it strains my neck. So that's one reason I decided to look down on the ground, just stay natural in my head. And then my vision is kind of blurred out, but just focusing on the auditory sensation. So I'm waiting for the beep, and then all I do is just backtrack to the holster with the hand, and my vision immediately goes to the next target at the buzzer.
Yeah. All right. And then let's check the next part here. How does this tie into visualization? And I think it's what you were saying, Matt, where we do our visualizations, you look to actions that you're going to do, like a door you need to open, a thing you need to shoot, and you put your vision on your task that you're meant to be completing at that moment. Is that fair?
Sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything to add to that, Professor?
No.
Fuck.
That was very good.
Well, this wasn't as lively like about the rules discussion as I think a lot of people would think it would be, huh?
Would you say you're kind of like beat down in a sense on it? Like,
Me?
it's
No,
not
I'm at fuck these people. I don't want anything to do with them. Like, that's where I'm at. Like, and I've been there for a couple years. Like, I have no interest in going to USPSA nationals. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't give a fuck about it. It's like, whatever. Okay, you do you. But I mean, that being said, it's not an organization that is for people like me or you. Actually, I saw a comment.
Hold on, it used to be,
not anymore.
Yeah.
Whatever, things change, you got to accept it. Where should I think it was. Anyway, the most interesting comments I saw which I think Mason. Did Mason get into this?
Yeah, Mason got into it. Mason was pretty.
All these people.
Mason was very active, like early on in this, and he's been pretty active, like talking and making a lot of sense of why it's not good.
Right. But anyway, I saw a lot of comments like, "Hey, this organization is not about the top 10% of shooters. Like, you guys can go away, and this won't matter. Like, it'll still be here." And it's like, okay, yeah, no, fair enough. Like, it's not for the serious people. It's not for that. That's not what this is about for the people running it. This is a grift for Foley. This is a grift for Troy. That's what this is. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah. Obviously. And I mean, we've tried to discern what's happening at the board level, but the three of us sitting here, like we can't understand how some of these decisions get made. You know what I mean? Like again, I don't know how they got to, hey, let's have magnets. Because like I would be like, all you're doing is everybody's going to have to buy magnets now. That's all that's going to happen. This isn't going to make anything better or different. It's just everybody has to buy a magnet. And this is coming from the guy selling the magnets. And
yeah. The guy that sold out the first night.
Yeah,
it's like, within hours.
Yeah, it's like whatever. It's like, okay. No, but I don't understand it. And like beyond that, it's just they're keeping the grift going, and that's fine. Whatever, more power to them. Have fun. Jesus, I sound like an asshole, don't I?
I don't think so.
No, you don't think so, Mr. Kim?
Yeah, like one of the things that's stated on that object and purposes, again, bylaws, is the word athletes, like athletes to present the U.S. And this is basically saying the organization, like it said, the whole thing is to set forth a system under the auspices of the corporation to, yeah, basically help athletes. And a lot of the times, the word athlete over here, they think it as a participant or a hobbyist, which is a completely different thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, people like the serious guys, they generate a lot of the problems for the organization. I mean, in their view, like, because like since the people are more involved and more passionate, like those people kind of make a lot of noise to the board members and stuff. So I think they don't so much like those people, and they'd rather have a lot more casual participants, quite frankly. Which I guess if you're doing the calculus of who's going to pay their $3 or whatever, like, then that makes sense to them. Well, hey, whatever. That's what it is. Anything else to say, guys, or should we sign this off?
I think we're good.
All right, listeners. If you have any questions, some things you want us to talk about, go to benstecker.com. Send me your questions. We love talking about stuff. Yeah, we do.